what got me to this point of wanting to make films was I became interested in films. I had a Super 8 camera, photographing my kids and things. And I decided when I had this big fight, I thought, you know what, good time to take a hiatus. So I applied to the National Film School, um, and I'd made a decision I was going to take 3 years out and study filmmaking. After all, I'd been on the road for 10 years. I'd studied music, I'd studied stagecraft, I'd been an actor. I kind of knew what directing was because I was involved in the production of performance. Um, I was very good at sound because I already had a bunch of tape recorders, was making sound designs and recording things and making loops and all that shit. So it never crossed my mind that there would be a problem. So I applied to the film school. I got an interview, and on the panel was David Putnam, so Oswald Morris, Ozzy Morris, Romaine Hart, who had a cinema chain at the time. They were my panelists, and I
Oh,
went in.
just David Putnam and Ozzy Morris alone. Oh my God!
Yeah,
What a that's a
yeah.
momentous a gathering of artists right there. Yeah.
So I went in, and I was full of cheer, and I always enjoy meetings. So I was looking forward to it, and literally from the moment I stepped in, it went wrong. And I think David Putnam said, well, we looked at your application. You're coming from avant-garde theatre. What makes you think there's any connection between what you've been doing and cinema? I was really taken aback, and I said, well, it's all the same thing. It's about performance, it's about communication, and so on. He said, yeah, yeah, sure. Um, Ozzy Morris, very cynical, really did not warm to me, and I very quickly did not warm to them. And it became quite aggressive quite quickly. David Putnam asked me a trick question. He gave me a scenario and said, "How would you deal with that?" And I went, "It was some disaster." And I said, "Oh, I'd go and research it, and then I'd talk to people, and then I would come up with a scenario." And he said, "Wrong answer." And I said, "Oh, so what is the right answer?" He said, "I would hire a good script writer." I know, right, okay, if that's the approach. It got worse and worse, and clearly they were not enthralled by me in the slightest. So it came to an end, and as I was leaving and kind of putting my things away, they said, "So what'll you do if you don't get into film school? What are your plans?" I said, "I'll make a film anyway." And Ozzy Morris said, "But you just told us you don't even know how to use a 16 mm camera." And so my parting shot, which looking back, it's like I said, "It can't be that difficult." And I could see that was like, if there'd been any doubt about me getting in, I'd suddenly sealed my fate there, which is a good thing. So in fact, what I did was I went out and made a film.